everybody, and welcome into another episode of TableTakes. I am Anita, who was dubbed last week as your part-time host, full-time awesome by Sarah Moore. And today I'm hosting, and I'm really excited to get to see what all these wonderful people have been up to this week. Let's start with Bonsai. How's your week been?
It's been rainy, lots of rain, but it's good. It's good rain. I've been to many things, seeing what my local library has for like in terms of like rule books and stuff you can get. They actually have a really good library of it, and also they have a lot of material online, and it's fun to go ahead and check out what your local library has in terms of role playing books that you can borrow and stuff. So
Oh, that's
that's what I was
awesome.
doing. Yeah, and they have an app for my library too. Did you guys know? Check to see if your local library has an app.
Oh yeah, that's so handy. You can see what's in.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Javion, how's your week been?
Pretty good. I think the cold weather has, come and gone. It took its toll on us last weekend, but I'm surviving still. I got a board game in the mail called Empire's End by John D.
Yes.
Clare. It's super fun. It's kind of the style where you have the civilization already, and you have to mitigate all the destruction that's about to happen to it as much as possible, and also try to like innovate stuff. It's really fun. I usually hate auctioning and like bidding wars in board games, but this time they made it like super fun.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm gonna have to maybe check that out. Noir, how's your week been? Muted.
I'm muted. It's been 1 week since you looked at me, cocked your head to the side, and said I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me,
Get that together and come back and see me.
No, it's been a pretty chill week. Working on finding a new apartment, so that's fun. Big boy stuff. Also shout out to Wizards of the Coast. They sent us the book of many things and the
Mm.
deck of many things. And also shout out to the team at Demi Plane. I cried hard enough and they gave me access to a bunch of cool stuff on their site. So just shout out to those two.
Heck yeah. Myself, my week's been pretty chill. I've got a job interview on Monday that I'm pretty excited for.
Ooh.
And I have a cat that's still in a onesie, currently on my lap. He's a sweetie. But I think that's enough about us this week. Why don't we dive into the headlines with this week's top stories? And I'm going to start off by doing a quick announcement. Dress to Quest is coming back to GCTV this Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Dress to Quest is returning to GCTV. Our adventurers begin their long and arduous journey through the unforgiving frozen tundra of Icewind Dale. The 10 towns have clawed their existence into this uninhabitable landscape over 4 centuries, despite constant threats of orcs, monsters, and secrets frozen beneath the surface. Will our group uncover mysteries buried within the snow, or will they be lost in its icy plain? And stick around after our news, because we are going to be interviewing Austin and James from Dress to Quest, talk a little bit more about the show.
Hey, do you think Icewind Dale hangs out with Icewind Hill? Get it, it's a king of the hill chunk.
Yeah.
Boo.
Icewind Hank.
Oh, that's God dang it! No!
Icewind Boomhauer.
Yeah, that's what I should have said.
Ice, wind, and fire.
Ice, wind, and fire. But you know what I'm excited for, folks? It's Friday. It's the weekend. And for some folks, it's game night, and it's maybe a time you can hang out and imbibe. Jeffrey Dome Sanchez at ICV2 has brought us an article about a new book called Puncheons and Flagons by Tom Wheeler. It is Penguin Random House is releasing Puncheons and Flagons. It's an officially licensed Dungeons and Dragons themed cocktail book that features recipes, over 75 themed cocktails, mocktails, and bar bites. And they're sure to lighten up any encounter. Some drink names include the Necromancer, the Hand of Vecna, And of course, batch cocktails like Candlekeep Tea and Fairy Fire, as well as some non-alcoholic offerings for those of you who don't necessarily imbibe on the regular or can't um, can't quite drink anything too alcoholic, but also some snackies for when you're gaming at the table, because who doesn't love snacks when you're gaming? Puncheons and Flagons is a 192-page cocktail hardcover and will be retailing for $29.99. So maybe it's a good thing for a Friday night where you put the kids to bed a little bit early.
Honestly, I like how Dungeons and Dragons is just making a whole bunch of cookbooks for everything. So
Yeah.
we don't have to imagine it anymore. We can actually have it. And I believe they're also having a TV show on YouTube or something like that. That's like drinks
The
and
Heroes Feast. Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
Ooh, what do you guys think? What
Is there
like
anything
if
you're
you
excited?
It makes
If you
me
could have a cocktail themed around like a Dungeons and Dragons spell or something, what would you do?
I feel like maybe something with like color splash that has a little kick to it and it's
Mm.
rainbow and it, and maybe it's got a little lime and excess. I don't know. It's like it's acid. You got a color splash on you there. I don't know. I'm just
I'm sure
thinking
there's a
of the
bunch of
spells.
ideas. I'm sure there's a bunch
Uh,
of different things you can mix together.
I would like to make a drink called Disintegration, which will just be Everclear, um, Malort, and let's add some. It starts with A, and it makes you see fairies.
Absinthe?
Oh,
Yeah.
absinthe.
Yeah, that's it. Those are the 3 drinks.
That sounds
Malort, Everclear, and Absinthe. Disintegration. Make a little save.
that's a
Wow.
punishment shot.
Well, I mean, so behind the scenes, one of the like Marcus has offered gelatinous cube shots. It's like you got little like, oh, those would actually work as Jello
You
shots
could do
and
Jello
stuff.
shots. Yeah, you could put them in like a little like
Yeah,
in
and then have
ice
like those.
cubes.
Yeah, and have those like you ever like have drunk gummy bears? You just soak gummy bears in vodka and they soak it all up, and then you
Yeah.
can put that in the gelatinous cube.
I like it. I like it very much.
I'm mad.
Um,
I'm mad we're sober right now. This would be a great conversation to have with a drink.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Well, whatever the case, you should probably put the kids to bed early. And speaking of putting the kids to bed early, Bonsai, do you have something for us with a new offering from another offering from Penguin Random House?
Yes, actually, this is also coming from thank you again to Jeffrey Dome Sanchez for letting us know about this. So Penguin House, as you know, they're working with D&D for a couple of things. They just released a D&D themed picture book for toddlers called Dungeons and Dragons: A Long Rest for Little Monsters. This is a D&D book features like samples of monsters like dragons and owl bears and beholders going to sleep and how they're put to bed. It's already available for pre-order on Amazon for $5.99. I already bought it. This is actually not the first book they released, but the second. They have another book that has to deal with the original cast from the D&D animated cartoon series that you could get, but I felt like monsters were a better fit. I've already gotten my little wee one. Role-playing gamer books. You got to indoctrinate them early, okay? How else are you going to have someone into your party members, all right? Family that games together stays together, but everybody keeps telling me that they're going to be a jock. But you know what? I'll support you. I'll support you in either way. I wouldn't quite understand you, but you know what? I'll try to. If you get into sports, I guess it's okay. But I mean, there's role-playing games in theater, but
I mean, you're working out some real stuff right now, aren't you?
it's the real thing. I was like,
we are in this moment with you right now.
Someone needs to clip this for Bonsai's baby in the future.
I'll understand. No, but it's a really cute idea, and I liked it, and it's just really cute. I have to give credit to. I didn't even know this was out until Anita. They pointed it out to me, and I was like, "What?" And then, of course, I immediately bought it and researched about it. So, thank you for bringing that up.
It is very cute, and it's something real cute you can share with someone you love. Maybe even write a letter about it.
Hmm. I
Javion, why
like
don't
the
you
way
tell
you
us a little bit
think.
about these love letters?
Sure. Uh, for fans of the Love Letter series out there, there is a new edition coming. And I don't think there's well, I think there are plenty of shows out there that could be adapted to Love Letter, but I really like Bridgerton Love Letter. It's a new version coming out in February 24th this year, so it's coming out very soon. And it's got all your favorite characters from the Queen, Charlotte, to Lady Doubtry. Penelope's in it, Anthony's in it. It's really cool. I'm excited because I love Bridgerton. They're using diamonds instead of rubies as the token of affection, which I think is so perfect because the diamond of the season is like a really
Mm-hmm.
key plot point for the show. And the only real big change to the game is that Queen Charlotte, the queen character, is a little bit different. So instead of how it usually is, where the queen is sort of the card that lets you, I believe it's not swap, that's the wizard, not discard, that's the prince. It's the card that you have to, I believe, get rid of if you don't have, sorry, if you do have something that's a 5 or a 6 or higher. Sorry about that. But the Queen Charlotte in this case, you actually count up from the number 1 all the way up until you meet somebody else's card, and anybody who has that number discards it for the round. So you can, it's basically making them discard, but it's a little bit different.
They've
Um,
changed the mechanics a little bit for it. That's interesting.
yeah, yeah. For those of you who maybe have never actually played Love Letter and don't know what I'm talking about is, you have all of these cards in a deck and everybody just draws one. It's a really simple game where you draw a card, play a card, and try to knock everybody else out of the game so you can get your love letter to the princess at the end, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
really cool. So yeah, give it a try. When it comes out, it'll be $14.99 later in February. And it's a really short, quick game. And if you like Bridgerton and you want to see more of them on your table, now's a good opportunity.
Yeah, Love Letter's a really good, nice portable game too.
It is. It's like small and compact. Put it in your pocket, play it at the. I was gonna say movie theater when I meant to say airport. I don't know why that popped in my head, but yeah, play it at the airport.
Mara, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was debating whether or not I would actually bring this up when we were live, but I just think that it's kind of bullcrap that we're taking this serious when I had the Grey's Anatomy tarot cards. Everybody made fun of me, so this chandelier show is fine. But my tarot cards are not cool. That's fine. That's fine. When I do the How to Get Away with Murder 40K army, I
No,
want y'all to keep the same energy. Okay?
no,
When I
absolutely
get the
not.
Olivia Pope Battle Sister figure for 40K, I want the same energy.
Wow.
Under no
Nah.
circumstances will I
Wow.
abide.
Noir, you're really out here cursing our names, aren't you?
The crossover nobody knew they wanted. Chandelier and Warhammer.
Let's do it. Well, Noir, you seem to have a lot to say about a good many things. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Covens of Midnight?
I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. The Covenants of Midnight. First off, let's give a shout out to Chase Carter over at Dicebreakers. Thank you so much for giving us this information. Designed by Crosspath Press, creators of Bramble Trek, the Covens of Midnight sends players to the magical world of Akrath, as students enrolled in the Midnight Court. Here, they will hobnob for 3 semesters with other students bearing latent magic talent, but not everyone boasts a connection to a mysterious and powerful paragon. This choice between entitles such as entities such as Archfey, Mora, and the Great Old One, Nature Spirit, Hal Yun, and others will determine the student's class and indelibly shape their time within the school. This sounds awesome. Like, I know a great many of us were a fan of a certain wizarding franchise that I personally no longer associate with. So being able to bring that kind of magic back into my solo gaming, with like really cool entities, like who doesn't want to work with the great old one? I do. I don't like my sanity. Have it. Um, so yeah, I just think this is really cool, a very interesting solo game. So give it a try. The art for it is just, by the
It's
way,
so pretty.
So
Oh,
wow,
pretty.
it's so gorgeous. Their tarot, I believe it comes with its own tarot deck. It's just really, really flipping cool. So yeah, this is definitely one that you're gonna want to check out.
And yeah, that it looks like it's a school for warlocks. That's really interesting.
Well, you know how I feel about warlocks, but we're not gonna go there right now.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna go there.
Warlocks are cops.
We went there.
like
Now
paladins.
Ooh.
Don't start it. Don't start it with me, Monza.
Sorry.
Oh, you're all good. We're going to go switching gears from solo RPGs to World Championships. Bonsai, why don't you take it away?
Hey, guess what? It's a subject that you guys are so fond to hear. Loricana World Championship. Starter Box have been thank you to Charlie Hall from Polygon for bringing us this article right here. So after finally getting on top, so this is after I even got myself a booster box. Finally, after finally getting on top of the Loricana demand, Ravensburg has announced the details of its upcoming competitive play events. The headliner events are going to be in North America and European championships. It will start around regional Loricana qualifiers in May, and then move on to like Q4 2024, so like at the end of the year, for all the rounds going up to the championship that is going to be held in 2025. They're also, in case for those folks who cannot get a hold of like lots of cards to make a really, really good deck, there'll be also a more accessible competition format called Set Championships. Will be launching in April. These events will be restricted to individual sets and will be focused more on smaller scale and local special player rewards. The first champion set of champions for Into the Inklands will be awarded this promo version of Stitch the Rockstar, really cute artwork if you see displayed right here, to the local champions. Ravensburg also announced the release dates for the next 3 sets beginning in May, August, and November. So May 17th, August 9th, and November 15th for all the various different expansions or extra sets that they're going to Into the Inklands and such like that. Very exciting. I've noticed that blue is the way to go. So if you guys are into whatever card combination, I'm working on a blue deck. I don't know what I'm going to combine it with, but yes.
If this means that I can finally play the game, if it means that I might actually see boosters or a starter box in stores that I can actually get, then I'm on board. But I'm sorry, I'm just not like you, Bonsai. I can't run around the state looking for any scraps that are left over from whatever everybody else bought.
I won the lottery for the booster set, to be very honest. I put myself in a lottery to get it, and I got it. And
Wow.
I was so lucky. I was like,
Bonsai, this isn't actually an episode of Tabletakes. This is an intervention.
no! You can't make me. I don't have a problem.
It's because we're your friends that we want to talk to you about Lorcana.
It's okay. I feel like we could catch up with somebody else. I don't want an intervention.
No, it's all good. From one card game to another, let's talk with Javion and maybe catch up a little.
Sure. Looks like a new card game is heading our way. And this one actually, according to Jeffrey Dome Sanchez, thanks again for this article, actually has a little bit of buzz behind it. It looks like Johannes Groupie and Corentin Lebrat. I'm sorry for pronouncing those names the way I did. It looks like both of them, having designed this game and several others such as Nautilus Island and Scorpion Mask, have gotten a little bit of notoriety, a little bit of buzz from Man vs. Meeple, Board Game Geek, and a few other board game media outlets since they announced it at Spiel Essen last year. So, this game's called Far Away. In this game, you have 8 cards in front of you, and you're going to be deciding which ones you're going to be taking, and also playing cards from your hand out onto the table to help collect a set of cards. So it's very much like deciding what you think is going to be beneficial in the moment, and then everybody flips over the card to see what everybody else chose, and then simultaneously collect the stuff that you chose from. It's got similar vibes, in my opinion, to other games where the number that you place, if it's high enough, you go first, or if it's too low, then other people get to go before you, but you might get better rewards, games like that. Um, I think it's pretty simple looking as well as from the rules that I looked at. It plays in only about 30 minutes at most, and it's going to retail for about $24.95 when it comes out later this year in March 2024. So it looks like something fun and cute to crack out onto your table. Looks like people are buzzing about it. And yeah, it also has like a really cool theme to it where you're discovering a far away land. You're exploring this huge continent. You don't know what's there, so you sort of just like deciding what paths you're going to take around it. I think that's a really cool premise. It's super fun, cute art in it as well. I think a great addition to anybody's collection, especially if you love little puzzly games like that. So definitely take a look at that when it comes out. Thank you to Pandasaurus Games for this announcement, and thank you to ICV2 for the article.
Awesome. That it looks really cute. Absolutely. I love the art in that.
I don't know if you've ever
Uh,
played League of Legends, but if you know what a Yordle is, that's what the character on the front of the box reminds me of, a tiny little creature named Vagar.
Aw. From something cute and wholesome to something not so cute and wholesome. Other people that need to catch up are Facebook, in specific their automated ad service. This is about Facebook banning ads for Votes for Women second printing. This is from Mike Didymus True from Board Game Wire. Votes for Women is a 1 to 2 player war game that's based on the women's suffrage movement in America. It captured a lot of attention and won quite a few awards when it came out back in 2022. The original Kickstarter only managed to raise 29,000, so copies were pretty limited, but people that reviewed it absolutely loved it. It was heavily reviewed very well across several different publications, including Polygon, Vulture, and to name just a couple. So in response, Fort Circle Games decided to launch a second edition printing via Kickstarter in December. Now they're running into trouble with Facebook ads. Since the new year, Facebook has banned all ads for Votes for Women due to them being sensitive social issues because they could influence how people vote and may impact the outcome of pending elections or legislations. Even more troubling is that multiple requests for manual review have only reaffirmed this ban. Currently, the fundraising campaign has about $160,000 raised, but Fort Circle Games suspects that the Facebook ban on their advertising has impacted them negatively, about $60K in additional pledges that they weren't able to get because of this ban. And it's pretty bad, y'all. When you start automating things like this, you lose out on art.
And unfortunately, I think that like this is one, at least they're getting coverage because that will hopefully make it so it comes back. But it also is like, how is women's rights political issue? But it's fine, never mind. Just kidding. Women's rights.
You know.
I wouldn't have expected that huge of a deficit from not being able to show on Facebook. But then I thought about it and like, yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of times when I don't know about a Kickstarter, it's not because I didn't scroll through, it's because I didn't see it on Facebook. So I can totally see why they would be upset.
Yeah. It impacts the bottom line. Rory, do you have thoughts?
I just Every week we have a different article about how technology, which could be used to do wonderful things, is being employed in the dumbest way possible. Just consistently. It's
And I seem to be the one always bringing this article to y'all.
no, it's just I mean, this technology is amazing. It could be used to improve the world in such amazing ways, but we keep taking this ultra smart stuff and being just so stupid with it. It's fascinating and consistent and a little depressing.
we just gotta laugh because it's the only thing that stops us from crying sometimes. But from things that are being made inaccessible to things that are being made more accessible, Noir, why don't you bring us in on this next article here?
I would be more than happy to. And what a segue. You you like Pathfinder? You like small things? Oh boy, we got an article for you today. Paizo's gonna release 2 Pathfinder Core Pocket Editions into retail. Yeah, that means Pathfinder, big system, made small. The Player Core and the GM Core remastered books that came out in 2023 will be available in smaller sizes for Pathfinder RPG fans. Each of these 2 books are going to have the same content as the standard edition, but it's reduced in size for better portability. It's not like tiny, but it's respectable. These smaller size versions of the first books published under the Open RPG Creative License also feature a soft cover and a lower price, making them ideal for budding designers to pick up and carry around for quick reference at playtest sessions. And each book is going to retail for $29.99. Tiny books. Love it. Y'all got any thoughts? How do y'all feel about Pathfinder in general, and what do you think about tiny books? Tiny books.
How are they going to fit in your pocket? I feel like, I mean, I guess they could, there's also another way you could put it. There's this little thing, we have a computer in our pocket that we could download all the stuff in, and it works.
Wow.
Just,
I don't know. Sometimes I like having a little book that I can like highlight things in or like flag off pages. I don't know. No one's ever actually seen my copy of like the player's handbook for D&D, but I have like tabs on everything. And I like having that physical copy sometimes, and having something that's smaller and more accessible is always great.
Yeah, what if your phone dies, Bonsai? What are you gonna do then? Your
Yeah.
book can't die.
Yeah. Yeah,
Book can't
Bonsai.
run
fucking
out of power.
burn. I'm sorry.
We're getting the entire emotional spectrum from Bonsai.
We really,
We're
really
seeing all
are.
of it today. I'm a fan.
Well, to bring it down just a touch, we've actually got a little bit of an announcement. Last week we talked about Janelle Jacquet passing away, unfortunately. But this week we've got something that's a little bit of good that's coming out of it. The RPG pioneer Janelle Jacquet is being memorialized with a mega dungeon inspired by classic Caverns of Thracia that she designed. This comes to us from Chase Carter at Dicebreaker. Tabletop designers are planning to memorialize recently passed game designer and activist Janelle Jacquet with a itch game jam. This is the Janelle Jacquet Memorial Game Jam and Fundraiser. Submissions are available through itch.io for the next 12 days. And submissions are accepted through February 1st. It can range from a manuscript for a map all the way to a fully illustrated map spread complete with keys. And they have volunteers that if you can't quite finish what you started, someone will pick up for you so that it can still go out. The fundraiser is accepting submissions for a project called Return to Parenthos, inspired by Mothership designer Sean McCoy and hosted by RV Games' own Violet Ballard. The Game Jam supports two very worthy causes. Where pre-sale orders will actually go directly to Janelle Jacquet's family, and wholesale and retail sales will actually benefit Trans Lifeline, a UK-based grassroots hotline and grant-giving nonprofit. So a little bit of good comes out of something very tragic. And if you're a game designer, sign up, contribute, or buy it either before or after the fact and support 2 very great causes. Well, I think that that just about does it for today's headlines. Let's get rolling into our crowdfunder court.
Welcome to Crowdfunder Court. Here come the judges. Prepare to be judged. All right, court is now in session.
All right. Well, welcome into crowdfunder court, and Javian, why don't you bring us the first submission to the court's attention?
Why, thank you, Your Honor. Today, I brought for you the Ultimate 5e supplement. That's right. It's Tales of the Valiant, the Game Master's Guide 5e. Now, you may have heard of Tales of the Valiant because it is an actual RPG system that will be coming out very soon. The Game Master's Guide isn't what you might think at first glance, however. It's not only for Tales of the Valiant, it's also for 5e. In fact, everything in Tales of the Valiant is 5e compatible. So take a look at this Kickstarter and this Game Master's Guide, where you can get a ton of really useful tools and supplements for Game Masters. Looking at just the table of contents, you can already start to see how it's teaching you how to be a better GM, with the first chapter literally being how to be a GM, and other chapters detailing how to build adventures, campaigns, build worlds, modify monsters that you see in the 5e monster manual, and much, much more. So if you are looking for a way to get started being a GM, or if you're like me and you've been GMing for a while and you want some tips on the philosophy behind things or some guidelines that you can follow when you're trying to make everything your own in maybe a homebrew world, or just to mix things up a little bit in the module you're using, definitely check this out because you've only got 28 days to go. They've already hit their 50K goal and they're up to $275,000 now. So congrats to Kobold Press, and definitely check out this Kickstarter if you get a chance.
Amazing. I always love to see more things from third-party publishers that are starting to branch out on their own, and that looks like something that's going to be real great.
Also, I forgot to mention, if you check out the video on the page for the Kickstarter, it ends with, "You're going to need all the help you can get." And I think that's very funny.
Very good. Sustained. I don't know.
Thank you.
Next up, we have.
Who objecting?
I'm not objecting. I'm the judge,
Exactly.
and I'm here to judge you, Noir. Bring us the next crowdfunder.
What was the say? As a lawyer, I'm confused. Hello, everybody. I'll plead my case, I think, for Jukebox, the karaoke musical tabletop role-playing game. It's got 21 days to go. It has a goal of $2,500. They're already at $8,125. So you might be wondering, how did they blow their goals? So, like, how did they blow that out of the water? What are people buying? Well, I will I will tell you. This Jukebox is all about singing big, dramatic karaoke songs, and for those songs to be pivotal moments in your musical story. That's right, you are creating a musical on the fly using this system. It's really, really cool. They're creating character-driven stories where everyone gets complete, meaningful narrative arcs and collaborative storytelling where all players shine regardless of singing ability or familiarity with role-playing games. I gotta tell you, the book for this is really cool. It looks like a playbill. So if you're a musical theater nerd like me, you're already like, oh, I'm fully invested in this. If this is a GM-less game with no lengthy preparation to host, everything that you need to play can be found in your house. Index cards, pencils, playing cards, a computer, or TV with internet access. You create a playbill keepsake during play with your cast and your musical numbers. 4 quick start play sets that provide a plot, karaoke playlist, and character prompts to help jump into genre-specific stories such as Disney fairy tales or sword and sorcery, inspired by power metal. And there's just so much more to this. This is a great game for partying at the house if you're like me, have a bunch of musical theater friends. I don't expect that we'll see too many actual plays because our copyright system is cursed in this country. But this is one that you'll want to bring home and just watch your friend sing all the songs from Hamilton that they probably should.
Overruled.
What? Stop saying these things. No one
You're on thin
objected.
ice. But continue. I don't know.
I'm finished.
That's been our crowdfunder court, everybody. But stick around. We've got an interview coming up next with the wonderful folks from Dress to Quest. Let's throw it over to James and Austin.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Ben.
Yo.
Thank you for joining us. This is awesome. We're so happy to have you on with us.
Yeah.
Why don't we get started? We want to learn so much about you guys. So why don't you just introduce yourselves for the few people in the audience who maybe haven't heard of you? I'm sure all of us have. But,
Oh, goodness.
people are going to be watching this VOD later. We want to have some reference.
Right. You want to go or do you want me to go first?
James, you go ahead. You go ahead and take it.
All right. So my name is James. I am the host of Tabletop Misfits. I've been GMing for about between 15 and 20 years. And I'm looking really forward to bringing the cold wastelands of Icewind Dale to Dress to Quest and to find out what our players are going to really get into when not just monsters are attacking them, but they're having to deal with the environment itself as part of the problem. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited
Awesome.
too. And what about you, Austin?
Hi everyone. My name's Austin. I've been a game master now for about 10 years, just over, somewhere in the ballpark. I really got to join in more on the public side of things with the Adventurers League. Did a lot of Wizards of the Coast Adventure League. I was a local coordinator in Indianapolis for a while, so I was around Gen Con a lot through the process. And then I think that from there, I found my way to GUI Cube with James, and we've just been running games for 4 or 5 years now, just doing our thing, and we're very excited for this opportunity.
Yep.
Heck yeah. So with a name like Dress to Quest, it's very clear there was at least early on in the process the thought of doing cosplay while playing. I gotta ask, how did that become a factor in your show? How did you decide that's the way you wanted to lead into things?
So we were kind of stepped into, so we're the third GM now for Dress to Quest. And this year was kind of one of those things where we had to figure out how can we wear a costume and go in cosplay and not absolutely be drenched in sweat and completely just heated up because like I said, we're playing in Icewind Dale. So we had to really look for ways to make it look like we're warm and bundled up, but at the same time not throwing furs and heavy cloaks on each other, because by the end of it, everybody's just going to be dripping. It'd be horrible.
I'm sure some of
And
your different cosplay items are like high, like big ticket things, but like whenever I see people in cosplay anywhere, I'm like, okay, yeah, these people are professionals. I'm immediately just like, oh, I need to like pay attention because I step out of the way when they walk down the hallway or something. So what are some of like the big, cosplay items you guys have done?
So I know last year they did a lot of mostly armor, We had some very amazing cosplayers that joined our crew last year, and this year that I'm picking them up. We've got a druid that dresses very traditional Russian, so she's going to be all decked out in color, very similar look to like Anna from Frozen.
Mm.
And then we have Eric who's coming in as a goblin, and that's as much as I'm gonna say. But you have to be around to see it. The amount of time and energy and what he has put together is incredible. I'll be playing as the Myth Weaver or the Lore Master. So I'll be in partial mask at all times. I've got this book that I can write in if I see anything that's happening on the show. Let's see. We've got a barbarian who's coming in. We've got a paladin. It's going to be an intense adventure this year.
So, what's it like stepping into this show? Like, did you come in with any ideas of things that you might want to change, or things that you might want to keep?
So the main thing we wanted to keep is we want to keep that energy of showing off these amazing players and the costumes that they've put together, and we want to bring those forward in the show. But what we're doing this year is we're changing it up a little bit. So Dress to Quest has never had 2 GMs on staff. So both Austin and I are picking this up. So that's going to help us with things like audio cues, anything that we have to do for maps. So all these will be custom maps. There'll be custom community-based audio that we've worked with our community partners and friends of mine that are offering their audio as part of the showcase. Austin, if there's anything else that I'm missing, you're welcome to chime in.
I mean, James and I have been very, very lucky in the friendships that we've made in the tabletop community, to where we have a lot of support going into this, to where we are able to produce fantastic on-screen experiences that we're very excited for. One of them, I mean, we are going to be using artworks from GUI Cube. That's a big one for us. They have fantastic artworks, and just we're really trying to bring a lot to the production that we hope is memorable and can really grow the audience and bring us some just joy for everybody week after week.
Heck yeah. Hey,
Sorry.
okay. No, go ahead.
If you don't mind me asking, what system are you using for this like playthrough and stuff?
So it's still going to be 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. At this point, we haven't dove into any other systems for right now. I wouldn't mind testing things out like Tales of the Valiant's new system, or trying Pathfinder 2nd edition at one point. But with it being Icewind Dale and them already having a setting built into Wizards of the Coast is already built into, we're going to use that as our growth from there.
Have you ever played with 2 GMs before? Before this show, and if so, what's that like? I've never actually had the experience of like having a co-GM. I'd imagine there are times where it's a blessing, and sometimes you're bumping heads.
So I have had the opportunity multiple times at conventions and even friend groups where we'll do co-GMs. Most of the time, your co-GM is going to be one who's working kind of behind the scenes, doing the technical side of things. But we've got some ideas of how we want to literally let both of the GMs work together on show, and we're playing around with some ideas on that right now. Maybe we've got NPCs that when images go up on screen, it'll be talked by the other GM, stuff like that, so they can bring those characters to life without us having to like talk over each other and whatnot.
Yeah, I was just about to say, when the players encounter NPCs, like if, for example, James, you are the NPC that moment, is that permanently your NPC, or is that going to be something that you both juggle with?
We'll see. I'm not sure how we're going to play that out yet. We're still looking to see what that's going to look like, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to bring a different mentality to the game that most people have not seen before.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that in action.
So with the deep level of gameplay that you're doing, with cosplay adding to the role play, how does that change how people play? Because whenever I've been in costume, I feel like I change the way I role play. Do you notice that?
Oh, 100%. I will be bringing much more energy. My thing is if you can cover, like, because I've done cosplay before, and if I put a mask on, I'm a completely different person no matter what. Because I can hide certain things, or you can bring out extra features and whatnot. The problem is going to be is I'm going to make sure I've got to make sure that I'm giving off those uh, natural feelings in the face, because with the mask being half all the way down to the nose, it's going to take away some of that normal body language that you get from the facial expressions, stuff like that. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
James, you've talked a little bit about your costume. Austin, do you have anything special in store for your co-GM costume?
So currently, I believe we don't have any opportunity early on for me to have a costume yet. And I think we're trying to hold that one just in case it's a needed thing. There's been a lot of back and forth on how we make this work. And it's already hard enough when you're a game master. Sometimes I joked with James the other day. While they're fantastic, dinner parties are rough on a game master. There's 9 people around a table, and now we're going to have 9 people and 2 brains. So we have to figure out those ways to do these things. And maybe the cosplay down the line, maybe if we find one of those NPCs or something, maybe that's what mine will be. We're not certain yet, but at the moment, I think the focus is going to be to have James on the camera and myself operating and making sure everything works smoothly, as well as, running those behind the scene notes, things like that. But we're looking for that opportunity because I definitely would like to be in costume, and we're trying to find something.
Maybe a 2-headed giant costume?
Yes, absolutely.
Just to kind of like go in and on the NPC thing, since you're both going to be GMing and both potentially playing characters, can I get your one orphan that is eventually maybe adopted by the party's voice from each of you, if you don't mind entertaining?
It's the orphan who's adopted by the party.
Ooh.
See, now there's 2 different sides to this. Am I playing as my serious or my immediate reaction? Because then I want the orphan, even though I hear orphan, you think child. I think they have the deepest voice in the party. I think the orphan at 6 years old, everyone's like, wait a minute. Wait, what is happening here?
Was this a baby Goliath the whole time?
See, and immediately I'm going the exact opposite way, in all honesty, partially because of my own home party. I'm thinking orphan. The first thing I'm thinking is dog, axe beak, like something random that people are just picking up and falling in love with. So I mean, you're gonna get squawks, you're gonna get barks, you're gonna get puppy noises, and it's gonna be crazy. But I have a feeling that
Old
the
animal
animals are gonna be
noises
one
in
of those things
parentheses.
where people just latch onto them. And the great thing is for that as a game master is all I have to do is even hint that I'm going to attack an animal, and the party goes nuts. Like they completely lose it. And it makes it so easy to be like, oh no, the dog ran off, and oh, there's this creature standing in front of it, and the dog starts to whimper, and then you watch the party just consume the creature because they're like, don't let the dog die.
2 hours of material right there. One sentence. We're good for this. We're good for the episode.
So one of the things I want to know from you guys is what do you want to convey to your audience? Like what do you feel is going to be the main draw of this new season?
Oh boy. I think the main draw for this new season is that the environment is just the beginning of what we're going to show in this, because there's all these hidden secrets of what lies beyond and below the ice, and dealing with blizzards, dealing with avalanches, dealing with cave-ins, not to mention monsters and bandits and barbarians. But there's also this magic that is pulling everybody to this place where they're like, what is beneath? What is going on? And I think that mystery is just it's going to be beautiful.
Oh, that sounds so tight. I really hope your party has a ranger with the way this environment is sounding.
I don't think so.
We'll
see.
That's gonna cost them.
Here's a question for you.
Sure.
Do you ever take the show on the road? I'm sure you're a big hit at Gen Con, right?
Oh goodness. Normally I run games at Gen Con for GUI Cube, and I've run as part of their background crew for their GUI game show. Um, there's been mention to bring Dress to Quest to Gen Con, and I mean, if I'm doing it, I will be doing it in full cosplay, and I'm hoping
Yes.
whoever we bring there will also be doing it in full cosplay. So let's let everybody know, like, we're willing to come there. I'm willing. I'll be there anyways this year with GUI Cube, but I'm happy to throw on the Mythweaver and walk around and have some fun.
So I think my last question: what level are they starting, and what level do you see them ending up this season?
Probably. So I love level 1. I love people learning their characters, learning how to become a cohesive group. And we're running a mix of Rime of the Frost Maiden, which usually brings us to about level 12. But we're looking at that journey probably taking between probably 6 to 12 months. So it's
That's
going to be a long and exciting journey.
oh, that's a lot of time to like get to know these characters.
Oh yeah.
That is a lot,
And they're all
That's-
bringing some serious backstories, and I'm really excited to weave those all together.
And with a harsh and cold and unforgiving environment, maybe it's not best to get attached.
So we'll see.
How
I'm
merciless
sure
are you as a
we'll-
GM?
Oh,
Not me.
I've been told that
It's
I
the
have
dice.
to. I've been told I have to dial that portion down. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
with cosplay going into it and things like that, I won't be trying to kill the party, but I am also not completely against killing members for epic stories. So
If they die, they die.
if they die, they die.
I
Do
like
you-
his style.
Do you ever
Sometimes you can't argue.
True. Do you ever work with cosplay designers or creators that maybe you want to like give a shout out to?
Oh goodness. So Red Nebula Studios is who did my mask. I have a half owl mask that I'll be wearing as the Mythweaver. And they was full resin crafted, so that was pretty epic. I don't know who did the Goblin. It's all I'm gonna say, because when you see this character, you're gonna lose it. It's so exciting. Sadly, we're waiting on some pieces, so Eric will not be joining us for a couple weeks,
Mm.
but it's gonna be a reveal that is beyond expectation.
Mm.
Definitely go check out our cosplayers. Our two new cosplayers. Tiny T was playing as the newest player for Dress to Quest Season 2. So she's returning with us, and then we have another cosplayer, and I'll make sure we get that information out when we launch this year or this week. Goodness gracious, it's right around the corner.
Very excited to see it. And I think with that concludes another amazing episode of Table Takes. But don't go far. In just a couple hours, we have Sarah's Table playing Perils and Princesses. In this humble adventure of Perils and Princesses, Sarah leads the party through dark and scary places to find out what they're made of. Of course, all our times are in Pacific. And on Mondays at 9 a.m., we have Peter versus the Machine. Dress to Quest returning at 6 p.m. We're welcoming Dress to Quest back for season 3, and our adventures are taking a turn through Icewind Dale. With Tuesdays, we have Vampire the Masquerade with Indie by Night at 7 p.m. Wednesdays, we have more miniature painting with Path of the Brush at 4 p.m., then Actoroki at 6 p.m. Thursday mornings at 10 a.m., we have Blood on the Clock Tower, and then again at 5 p.m. for some Shadowrun with Roll with Rena Alternus. Thank you so much to our Gen Con TV crew, Marcus Mays behind the scenes, making us all look fantastic, Stephen Conrad, Sarah Moore, and Tindell Lovett for these amazing graphics. Thank you to my delightful hosts, to Javion, Bonsai Baby, and the Noir Enigma. And thank you so much to our guests. Austin, James, that's amazing. It's been amazing to have you here today.
Thank you.
And And thanks most of all to you folks in chat coming and hanging out with us. Remember to follow Gen Con TV for more of the best 4 days in gaming all year long, right here on twitch.com/GenConTV. And by follow, I mean click that follow button. It's right down there in the corner. Do it. And with that, that's it. Bye.